when you're no longer here, you're not gonna be on the board again or working for me.
47 years,
or
that's what I'm
whatever.
going to my meeting. You don't want to come to meeting with me?
And there's
Stay
forms you
home,
go
Mom.
to HR,
I'm gonna stay
and then
home.
they have a form that you do, but you're subject to.
Hello.
state tax on
So
that.
we don't have to
Right.
approve these minutes, they've already been approved.
No, we didn't, well,
That
last
would
month
be-
was approved. We didn't approve the May 6th.
Oh, we didn't do it, okay, that's why, I got it. How you doing, Rick?
Rick's gonna make a motion right now to approve them. This young lady's gonna second it. And I'll say hey, and she'll say hey, and we'll be moving right along.
And then I can adjourn.
There you go. I know next week is gonna be a quick meeting, because we're voting that day.
Oh,
Next
that's-
week.
If anything, well, I was actually,
Third.
Next
yeah,
week,
we're
yeah.
actually, I was gonna ask you guys about that.
Meeting
We're
up.
gonna switch, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
That's what we usually do on
Yeah.
election.
Right.
I was gonna ask what you guys,
Oh, that poor woman.
so we have a meeting, scheduled
big on
currently
my
on the
obligations,
3rd,
so
in
let's move it.
in the 17th.
If you don't vote, and you wanna
So
complain.
this is already a late meeting, so I was gonna say, why don't we just cancel the 3rd and just hold our meeting on the 17th?
If you voted for it,
Okay,
you did your.
Is that fine with everyone? Cause we
Yeah.
go we went 2 weeks from this last
Not
meeting.
gonna have to be signed. We can come in and do it.
If there is, I'll let you know, but there's nothing, no, cause
Vietnam.
as far as I know, there hasn't been anything, there's no new betterment loan system.
Okay.
Everything septic wise, I've been able to sign off on,
They died, so I can.
and there's no
cast my vote.
pressing bills,
I let everybody know. I
like,
can cast my vote.
everything could wait until then.
Fine,
You don't
okay.
vote for nobody.
So that's why I was thinking, like, we could just,
I just didn't want some contract waiting for his money.
yeah, no, all of, as far as I know, all of the folks who were in like
And when you
waiting,
get that right,
are all
and you
set.
start taking.
Because there was like 1 or 2 that I knew were like, had submitted some invoices, but we are.
What used to happen in the old days,
You have a good vacation, by the way?
there was the contract and
It
the
was, the
homeowner
weather
signed.
didn't cooperate.
So by the time you get both
No,
of them do
it's a
it,
wonderful place
you
to
know,
visit, but.
then you have to go to a
we
meeting and approve
had
it.
Heavy rains.
The guy
hail,
waiting 6 or 8
tornadoes.
weeks to get his money.
We had-
Hi, Laura.
He has built, he
And they
paid for all the
had
materials for the
Wichita
septic
had
system.
Tornadoes.
Looks good, Dylan.
Tornadoes.
Perfect.
We were in
It's a
McPherson,
$35,000
which is south of
So
Wichita.
waiting 8 weeks.
And
your money-
about
so
2 left
change
over,
anything.
had a
No longer
tornado
is the
touchdown.
homeowner involved with
So it
signing
was
off.
like, you know, the
Unbelievable.
graduation day was perfect.
To hold the
It was
money.
sunny,
What
it
happens
was
is the
nice,
contractor
everything
submits
went
it
well.
final
Yeah.
bill, the agent
So
looks
it
at
was
it,
good.
he
It
has a
was a good- it
COC,
was a long trip.
goes to the board, we approve it.
But we had the
So I
rains
don't
going
wanna
out,
wait.
and we
I
I
drove
don't
to
wanna wait
New
another
York,
2
and the
weeks
rains coming
if somebody
through
was
all the
over.
way over.
you know?
So
I only fear I hate driving in the rain, but I will.
that was, and it was pretty heavy.
Yeah, we had some
We
rain,
had some rain.
Kansas,
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a Kansas?
We did, my
We
granddaughter
drove
graduated.
24 hours
A year
under
early.
the
A year
I did get good news,
So we
man.
went out for
My granddaughter's
graduation.
up from,
And next year, my grandson's
Oklahoma.
graduating from
come up
college,
for a wedding.
so we'll go out.
So she
and-
gave my wife to go back, and
Congrats to your
then we take it
granddaughter.
down, and it says, you guys are great
So it was
grandparents,
it was nice.
They're gonna be
Debbie's graduation
exceptional
day was
great
perfect.
grandparents.
It was sunny.
So I looked at her and
all
said,
but it
why
was
is
great,
this?
you know,
And
but
she
it was
said,
great.
you know, January
You're early.
26th.
Wow,
I'll
smart
be
girl,
there.
huh?
Dylan, did you
Yeah.
get that, to add to the
She
slide?
hasn't,
Could
she's
you
got
do
two
that?
classes that she
Yeah,
hasn't
okay, yeah.
gone, but she'll start in September.
Sorry, I
She's
forgot to
going into
respond, but
graphic arts.
yeah.
I knew I'd see it tonight,
Some of the
so,
things that
yeah.
she-
Okay.
Oh my God.
It was just the hockey,
No,
it was just the hockey thing,
I
right?
got my phone.
We're excited.
Yeah, it makes it 16.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Harvard was last week or the week before, so.
Yeah, 'cause I made it, I made it. And then reached out to those folk, and literally right after I like made it and sent it to Karen, I got reached out to by the Hopkinton Board of Health and was like,
Saying that.
hey, we did it, so I was like,
I think we made a mistake.
Oh,
To the new members.
oh,
I think we should have just done it at the board
Now it goes.
level.
Yes.
So you're going
We shouldn't have gone to town meeting. I don't think it's gonna be a problem, but
It's a nice pen.
I don't think so,
Yeah,
I think
if
that
it does, then I'll wait a year and do it again, or just at the board.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got mine at home, I'm still using
Basement
water.
water-
I got mine right
basement water
here.
problems?
I got
No,
my
like-
I get so many pens.
I steal one of these every time I go from Kia.
You're not supposed to.
As you
steal.
Oh,
should.
excuse me, I take one.
Okay. that's,
Yeah,
As you
I should
should.
take them all.
Yes.
Every time we used to go to Bethany God, my old tech, we used to go in and come out with 12 in his pocket, I said, you're going to hell. But you can't steal like that. He said, you're on the table.
I take one.
Ask. All you do is ask them.
Right.
Can I have a couple? They're gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Now you have permission. But when you don't ask,
Right.
They can't say no.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
you
stealing.
turn around when you
But
sign,
it's
when you
stealing.
sign for anyone, they'll say pen is right here, then you take one out of the jar and everything like that. They
Like, I'll get a rock
expect
one
you to
every
take
once in a
it. So I
while.
do.
They owe me more than interest. They get a pen. They don't last very long.
Mine lasts quite a bit.
I'll break that one in
My wife loves your pen.
No, no, Rick.
She took it from me and it's, I'm not gonna get it back.
All right, Rick, I don't know
I
when
see
this
it,
bends, but, when we go out, I'll give you
I
a
see
ring.
it.
I gotta screw them up in my. Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Well, what happened is the company that we buy them from, my wife ordered them, so she orders them from the girl, and the girl's trying to make more money. So she orders online as well, and they shipped me my first shipment, and they cut the check, and I paid them, God bless you, thank you very much. 3 days later, I get another shipment, so I call them up, and I said, you know what to do, you sent me a double shipment, I have X amount of pens extra, and the lady said, oh, no, your wife's like, no, he's my wife. Look, my wife's like, it's like she ran the cigarette operations for CBS for 30 years.
Right.
She dots the i's, crosses the t's and all that. She went back and forth with them, I mean, she got off the phone and said, keep it, just keep the pens. We don't want no money no more. Keep it. And I'll send them back, I don't want them,
Yeah, yeah.
because every year, and like this year, I'm
Sure.
probably do books. I do notebooks, people
Nice.
do like a diary. I mean,
Oh,
you
nice.
spend money to make
Oh,
money.
those are nice.
That's
And,
right.
and I find, one year we gave out pens that were silver,
Mhm.
or chrome, or whatever, real shiny,
Yeah.
and you hit the top, and they're going like that, and like,
Have a light.
everybody loved
Oh,
it,
yeah, yeah,
they're $5.90 a piece.
yeah, they're not.
So I
they're
buy thousands of pens, you
Yeah,
know?
Someone
And
was saying
they say
it's
you're
very
crazy, and it's,
expensive.
no, it's all big, part of it.
Oh, this?
I'm going to a conference.
Yeah, they're pretty
Down the
expensive.
Cape, leaving Sunday.
I mean,
And we have
Okay.
a lot of money managers
So,
that are there and they do the same.
That
thing.
was a
They
lot,
buy
how
the-
expensive?
The real
Like
expensive
$500?
pens
No.
and stuff like
Each
that.
one or
We
total?
know. Pens
Just
and
that
paper.
one.
Just this
people
one?
after.
Yeah,
They used to have mugs.
well, I have
and
a good,
everything.
I have a good artist.
Yeah, but somebody
Like,
said
so many
one
mugs
ounce cost them
And everything, you can only break
$15,000.
out
I
one
said,
at a
"You're
time.
crazy."
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and when you've
That- yeah.
got 12 of them
Really?
or 13 of them.
That
you
makes
can't use
sense.
them.
Okay, well.
So we would tell them,
I
they
mean,
said, what do you
but
think?
that's like, he probably
Now
got it
they're
done by
worn
like
out.
a
So it's to the
professional,
point now where,
and it was probably like really good.
what do you guys
Yeah,
want?
but I mean,
want
you
water
got-
bottle?
You should see Tim's. Like, if you see Tim's,
You want
Tim
water
is
bottle?
a lot,
All
like
right,
Tim,
you
the
want
building
water
inspector,
bottle?
Tim.
No, I
Yeah,
never noticed it.
yeah, if, next
Well, I
time
don't
you see
know.
him,
If
Paul,
they're-
just
if
ask
it's
him
nice
about it.
looking, I'll take
He
them.
literally,
And usually
his
they'll
artist,
come
But he
with
always
tons
wears-
of
I'll
them,
take
and
long
they'll
sleeves,
say, "You
right?
take two?"
he started wearing short sleeves to show it off,
They
because
come
he's
with-
got,
They come
so,
with tons of them.
literally,
And they don't wanna
his starts
take
at his
them back.
shoulder,
Oh,
and
yeah.
So
he's
they'll turn around.
fully
So I'm a
tattooed
board member, so
down
I get
to,
skip
down to like onto his
classes
hands.
Okay.
Unless I'm getting credit.
Like, I have like,
Oh,
I'm old
So
school.
I
I
have
can't do
vendor
that.
booths and
I don't have
everything, you
any
see
of
what junk
What do
we
you think,
have.
Rick?
What's the
One-
conference?
That's what I
Retirement?
think ridiculous.
Oh.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
time.
I don't have any,
systems.
but my wife
Well,
You know, many
that's-
people that punch in the face with
Full
that.
back, she has Beauty and the
What?
Beast.
Okay.
That mom and dad.
She has a tattoo
Like,
on her arm that
That's not
says,
all of it,
September
though.
19th.
Tia Mori, something
And now the
means,
kids are-
because I love you.
And we're,
Okay.
Because it's
She's
not-
got hats on all around.
and this guy
Yeah.
from.
Oh, she's got them all over.
Okay.
So many of
But-
us.
But I
So
don't.
In the fall, we
And
go
then,
beautiful
big
downtown
I was talking to this
Springfield.
guy,
I'd be fine, glad.
over
Yeah.
15
I'm not
grand. I said,
gonna
"You kidding me?"
wake up the next.
Oh,
That's what you got.
Yeah.
Some of them, yeah,
Oh,
Don't
It could be
you
worse.
have better things to spend your money on?
There's no
they,
good girls
no,
in
they
there,
don't,
right?
they like them.
Amen.
No, I don't.
I buy a car before I buy
Yeah,
it.
704.
Okay,
Oh, come on,
Okay.
Vinny.
okay, being 7:03, I'd like a meeting for the Bellingham Board of Health for May 27th, 2025. Myself, Ben Forty, Chair, Rick Gilberti, Vice Chair, and Tobacco Agent, and
That's right, you got promoted.
Deborah Bush, member, Elena Almeida, member, Richard Martinelli, member, and
Right.
Agent Dylan Labonte, and Minutes Clerk Laura Renault. I wasn't sure which way it was going. Okay, first order of business, improve the minutes.
I'd like to make a motion,
May
we
6th.
accept the minutes as typed for the May 6th to 2025 meeting.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so
Yeah,
carried.
we're getting this going.
I knew you would do that. That's fine, good. Okay, there's no new business. Okay, tobacco food inspector, tobacco agent.
Okay, there's a couple things on the tobacco. I have a presentation for tomorrow night at the town meeting. I think everybody's got a copy of it.
Okay, this is the presentation.
I've made a couple of changes, a couple of periods, a couple of word spelling problems, but, basically, you have it in front of you. Is there anything that you see in it that you don't think I should be saying? If you'd like, I can give it to you tonight, and do the presentation on it. Dylan made up 4 slides.
Fine.
And the question I have for the board is, do you think the slide should go before I talk or after I talk?
Okay, let's look at those before, yeah.
That's fine with me, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
Do the slides coincide with anything that you have to present?
Yeah, it basically does.
okay.
Is the slide part of your?
If they're part of it,
It's part of what I'm saying
So I'm
in
thinking if
here.
you go through the slides.
if you go to the slide and then start your presentation, go to the next slide and continue.
Well, that I
Is
don't
that-
think will work, because
Okay.
it's,
Okay, that's cool.
it doesn't coincide.
Oh,
It's not coordinated.
I think
Alright,
they
then it
should,
doesn't matter, Rick, wherever you're more.
yeah, because I didn't actually have the slides when I started doing all
Right,
this, so.
right. I
I
think
don't
you should
wanna
do
go
a
We
back.
made, we made them separate. I put something together through
Right.
PowerPoint just to
Okay.
put up on
On the
the
screen for
board so
people.
everyone can see.
Okay,
And then Rick prepared this
Oh,
as
alright,
like the.
okay.
So
tobacco.
why don't you think putting the slides up, what everybody thinks?
I would think that
first,
the
then
slides
you.
would be good at the end,
Okay.
because the
Okay.
last slide says, a yes vote means this, a no vote means
Okay,
that.
okay,
oh,
Okay.
okay.
So it explains to them
I didn't see that. Okay.
what was going on with my presentation.
My slides really are, I think that'll work better anyways, because I think
Right.
Rick is really getting the point home about why you should vote for it.
Right, right.
Whereas
Okay.
my presentation is
Oh,
really,
so you're both doing something.
I'm thinking, unless you wanted to present it, I was thinking I could just do it,
No, okay, in
whatever.
that case.
It doesn't matter to me, if you want to, that's
Yeah.
fine. I just think that afterwards, with the last slide saying,
What
yeah.
yes vote is. Yeah, I
yes
think that's
means
important.
this, no means that, I think that really explains to the
Yeah.
audience.
Cause
I
people
think
get
we're gonna
confused.
have,
It is confusing.
I think it's gonna be a lot of businesses there tomorrow night,
And
and I think they're gonna, cause a commotion.
Okay,
That's my own,
but if they're non-residents, they can't vote.
but they can't vote, speak that they can speak.
That's right.
Um,
They're given the floor.
I also have 2 people coming, one from the, state and a professor from, Northeastern University.
Oh, wow.
The professor is one that actually, he's a lawyer professor,
Cause I.
and he's the one that helped Brookline get theirs passed.
Okay,
What it said, how it was worded,
perfect.
and they're there to actually answer questions, because I'm not really capable of answering some of the questions that are gonna be asked.
Right, and this is new to you in a sense, first.
And I say that in my first or
Presentation,
second
right,
paragraph, first paragraph,
Right,
that I've just started
correct, correct.
this process of being the
How'd you get
tobacco.
the lawyer from Northeastern?
Well, he was the one that did Brookline.
Okay,
So I was dealing with the person that Dylan sent to me,
okay.
and we.
That's Sarah or not? Gully? No.
No, it's the Brookline and Melrose Board of Health,
Okay,
And
perfect.
she's a real nice woman. She sent me a ton of stuff
super helpful.
to go through. And basically, my presentation came from her.
But you condensed it.
Well, I changed it a little to put my qualifications
Correct.
in, and
I didn't know that. You started smoking at 13.
I did. When I was 13 years old, I
See,
started.
the first thing is you were a total non-smoker. People would say, well, you don't know what it's like.
Oh, no, I definitely know what it's like. And as of February
I love it.
1st of this year, it was 23 years that I've not smoked.
Congratulations.
That's good.
23 years. So,
How many years
Um,
did you smoke?
oh, I don't know, 40.
40. Okay, see, they say it's 2 years or 1 year for every year you smoke.
Yeah, no, I was definitely
So,
smoking.
What's your
That's 2
question?
years
What's your
off.
question? Rick?
No, it
always
regenerate,
Oh,
clean
Sorry,
cells,
Michael,
and then hopefully in there, you don't end up getting.
But at this point, so
emphysema or cancer.
I've been smoke-free for 23 years,
Okay, that's good.
and I was up to 2.5 to 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Okay,
And I was a police officer, and when you're sitting in a cruiser with nothing to do for 8 hours,
correct.
smoking is just, eating and smoking are the 2 things you do.
Correct.
And I did it to excess.
Okay,
I started on January 1st to wean off cigarettes. And on February 1st, I just stopped.
Perfect.
Uh,
23 years ago.
I want a cigarette every single day of my life.
Oh,
I want a cigarette every single day.
It's still addictive like that, or it's just a brain change?
I love smelling other people smoking.
Okay.
I do. I can't help it,
Okay.
but I have not smoked.
I can resemble that.
Okay.
I never smoked a cigarette, but I'm a secondhand smoker.
Yeah,
Everybody around
but
me had.
I will never smoke
I never
again.
Yes.
Get acknowledged once in a while, my God.
Okay.
I'd like to know if I can make a motion, I mean, how this would go, okay, I wanna get rid of e-cigarettes in our town,
Okay.
and I wanna get rid of vapes, pipes, they're gonna call them. That the kids are walking around sucking these.
Yeah,
things.
yeah. And then they throw the cartridge on my lawn.
Yeah, I just like to see them going from Salem down to Bellingham. Let them go buy them in Woonsocket, let them go buy
You'll
them.
put out one business at least, if not two, because all they do is sell vapes.
Well, nothing for nothing, that's, the kids are getting their hands on it.
No, I understand,
Right.
but you said last meeting
I'm very business conscious, I am.
that you don't wanna hurt a guy with
No.
like his license.
Right.
Right.
If he's not selling it, you wanna let him sell it to someone else. Putting a business putting somebody
put-
out of business.
Can we put a heavier restriction on it in town?
It's 21 now.
I had an idea / question that kind of came up. I also was thinking in a hypothetical scenario that this doesn't go through tomorrow.
Right.
Do we have the ability / how would it work to add an additional local tax on tobacco and just?
I don't know, we have to
I don't
check
believe so.
DOR on that.
I don't
think you
believe so. I
can't.
think
You
you're
can't.
gonna-
DOR sets that.
No, I wasn't sure.
It's
because
just- I
If I remember
I know there's
correctly,
state,
yeah.
federal, yeah, I know there's state, local.
Right.
If there's already a local, I don't
No,
think
there's
you
a
can.
stamp tax there.
Like even a meal tax had to go through the
Stamp.
legislature.
There's no law in
Yeah,
the
federal
Commonwealth
tax.
right now that
If it's
says
coming to Rhode
local
Island, You get the Rhode
municipalities.
Island
can-
stamp, if it's going to Mass, it's got the Mass stamp, if it's going to Kentucky.
I
Wherever
think,
it's going, it's got their stamp on it.
The state.
So that state gets it, so it's not a town of citywide,
No,
it's a statewide.
The legislature makes that.
I just remember that from her for 30 years doing it.
Okay.
Okay.
to answer what you're saying, if that's what we wanna think about,
In the future.
I don't think we should do it because of tomorrow night.
No, no,
No,
I'm not saying
no.
tomorrow night, I'm just
No.
saying for the future. I mean, we talk about it first, and then we act upon it 6 months from now, a year from now.
Here's my thinking on it. Right now, we're going to the town meeting.
Right.
If the town meeting turns us down, I think we should wait a year,
Okay.
and then I think we should just pass it through the board,
Right.
not the town meeting,
Okay,
Right.
to the board.
Our regulations.
But I think we should wait a
You think a
year.
year versus 6 months?
Well, I think a year would be good,
Okay.
Yes.
because the citizens have spoken.
Okay.
right,
And I understand why we went that route, but I think we made a mistake. I think we should have just done it at the board,
Yeah.
because that's what everybody else has done.
Correct.
We're one of the few municipalities that are taking it to a town meeting.
So if
Our board has the
They're
right
already- right,
and the authority
you create a
to,
regulation.
to create the regulation.
that's, I guess where I was going with that.
If I had been the tobacco officer
Before.
6 months ago,
Right.
I would have said, let's handle this differently
Right.
Yeah,
than what we're doing. But now that we're doing it,
Does that become a
Well,
bylaw?
follow-
if they speak, we can't do it.
right.
And I say, in a year, we come back.
Well,
Well, I think you're gonna be surprised at the town meeting tomorrow night.
Okay.
That's why we did it,
mean,
'cause
a lot of smokers
Is that
here,
regulation would be
90%
any good?
people
They know
smoking all
codifies
year.
it in the
College-
No, I agree with that, but
Then it's
there's a
changed.
lot of businesses that I think are talking to
But they're not
people,
But I don't know if we
Right.
can make any
No,
changes to it.
but
yet,
they
right?
sent out 2
That
mailings
would be the
Right.
only thing.
on fancy
Yeah.
card
If you wanna
stock,
make a
Yes, it
regulation
is.
to amend it,
saying that
you have to
it's
go back
bad
and
to
change
do.
the bylaw.
And then someone
But that-
sent out a
It
little
is good
card
to
that
do.
said it is good
It's
to
not
do.
too
No, that was,
No,
was
it's
done
already-
through some other agency.
Yeah, and that's fine.
That's beautiful, I love it.
I thought that was great,
Okay.
but
Wow.
that doesn't compare to the 2 glossy,
There's no-
beautiful things.
Excuse me, I can't hear you when you're all speaking together,
wait.
sorry.
Laura was saying Laura
Yeah.
struggles with the minutes when we're all chatting like that, so.
Okay, we'll stop that.
Yeah.
So this is
Thank
where,
you.
I think we're gonna, this is my own opinion.
Okay.
I've talked to other cities and towns,
Yeah.
and most of them have 100 to 150 people attending meetings at the board level,
Really?
when they're gonna discuss this for a meeting and then vote.
Okay.
And they're surprised that a lot of kids show up, high school kids and a little older show up and say, vote for it. But the businesses get together and try to get as many of them in there speaking against it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that's not gonna happen here.
Okay.
I think it might.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons I asked the professor to be there and the Melrose Board of Health Director. Because I can't answer a lot of the questions that they're gonna put to me and try to take me down.
Right.
I think that's how, out of
how you
everybody I've
proceed.
spoken to,
Understandable.
I agree.
says that when we're going to a town meeting, it's different than a regular meeting.
Yeah.
And you have to expect the unexpected
Right.
when you're doing these presentations. So at this point, I'm gonna give it the best shot I can.
Right.
I've never done anything like this before. I've talked in front of people a lot, but
Right.
this is something a little different for me.
You got it, right?
I'll be on stage.
I'm gonna do the best I can.
Okay.
I'll be on stage because I'm already gonna be presenting the very next article. So I'm already gonna be
He's
there.
gonna be on stage.
Okay, the second thing is, do we have a copy of the warrants that are gonna be talked about?
We should, but I'll grab some, they're printed upstairs. I can grab you guys some on the way.
Yeah, let's do
Because
that.
I'd like to see.
I added it to your packages. It should be in there.
Okay, thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
I'll see you.
So at this point,
Oh, it's Tuesday.
I was on vacation down in Florida, so I didn't do a lot of stuff until I got back here, Friday. And I did as best I could over the holiday weekend, putting it together. So I can present it, or you can read it yourself and let me know what you think tomorrow. If there's anything you think is wrong, or, the other thing, Dylan, it definitely is January 1st, 2004, right?
Correct.
Okay,
That is exactly
all
how
right.
it's written.
All right.
Because, sorry, go ahead, Elaine.
I was just gonna say, I'm struggling with the interpretation of that. So if you're 21 or older, you can't buy.
So,
No, if you're 21 or older right now,
Mm-hmm.
from now to the way you die,
You're
you
good.
can be able to buy cigarettes.
Okay, so I could buy a cigarette.
Right.
But if you're 21 next year,
Yeah.
you're out.
Yeah,
You can't
every
buy
year you
cigarettes
add,
in
every year you
Bellingham.
go back and get rid of another year's worth of people.
the best way you can explain it, in my opinion, and this is how I have it on the slides, is currently, the way it is written is you must be over the age of 21 years old.
Oh, it's 21.
You must be over the age
Wait,
of 21 years
18.
old in order to purchase any sort of tobacco product in the town of Bellingham.
And that's a state law.
That is state.
All
That
right,
is
when
state.
did that change?
That changed about 4 years.
It was on
ago.
actually an
It
election thing.
was-
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
2 years ago,
I
3
think
years
it was
ago.
actually, it was longer, it was
8
4
years ago?
Yeah, it was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes.
Either way, so that's how it currently reads, right?
Yeah.
If this bylaw passes, it will read, you must be born after,
Yeah, it must be.
you must be born
Before.
before January 1st, 2004, in order to purchase cigarettes in Bellingham.
Okay.
So if you were born before that date, you can.
You
If
can
you're born
purchase it
after
done.
that date, regardless of your age, you cannot buy cigarettes in the town of Bellingham.
The other thing going on is that there's been 2 bills introduced into the state legislature this year to make this the state law.
How's it doing? Is it stuck in committees? or-
Well, it went to committee, and at this point, that's where it is.
Okay.
And they haven't even set up the committee yet,
Okay,
so
okay, so.
it
It's a long
could
term.
be 2 years.
Okay.
But it is in the state right now
Right.
to be passed.
Okay, that's a good argument for that.
Yeah, let's say this, Rick, just for the point, you said a year. Can we revisit it in 6 months and say? the board
I would,
decides-
we can bring it up in 6 months, but I'm telling you, once the people in this town vote, you have to kind of
you-
respect their vote.
You don't.
How's a year different from 6
You have
months?
to give them time.
I think it's time and
Because-
go
because
back
the
at them. Yeah,
Then you
no, I
gotta
don't
let
think
them
they'll
cool.
forget. No, no,
I believe
no.
the next meeting,
To think
next town
about it.
meeting's in October,
Yeah.
November.
November, so I
It's
mean.
too
if
soon.
it-
I don't wanna bring it
No,
to
but
the
I'm
town
told-
meeting the
no,
second
I'm
time.
saying
do it
it's
second
only 6
time.
months.
Yeah.
not in the
I'm
same
saying you
year.
do a 6-month thing, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I
So
think at
just
this
let it
point,
go.
Let go, yeah, okay.
I
that's
think
my
they'll-
own
I
opinion. If
personally
the
believe
board
they're
wants to
gonna pass it.
change that, that's
We,
up to the
we'll bring
board.
that up. because-
I believe they're gonna pass it.
So here's the other thing I was gonna say. We probably thinking, the way you're thinking, Rick, we should have put it in November, because very few people
No.
show up.
Hey, shoulda, coulda, woulda.
No.
The more people, the better it is. You don't wanna run something through it
You want the
without people
support.
knowing what's going
Well,
on.
like I said, once
They
we,
do it all the time.
Yeah, we don't-
With money.
That doesn't make it
This
okay.
is
No,
no
I know.
money.
no, but
It's
once
way down
we made the
the-
decision to go to the town meeting,
Right.
that was it. I mean, we
Right,
made that
because, yeah.
decision.
We made it, and
Run
the
it
first
off
meeting was
tomorrow.
bad.
Yeah, let me say this too. We have a tobacco agent before me
Right.
that I have never met.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know.
if he had come to the meetings, he might have been able to tell us this
Right.
stuff, but he never came to a
And
meeting.
Rick ordered him to come to a meeting.
And I brought it up and brought it up and brought it up, and that's why I finally said, done, I'm gonna be the.
Right.
the agent.
Actually, what happened was, it did show up with a letter stating, I didn't know you guys were advertising my position. And that's when, I think, the light went off and Rick said, I'm done with this.
That
What
guy's
about
done.
me? Yeah, and I
If
said,
he had
Well,
come
you're
to
not
our
doing your
meetings,
jobs. You don't need them.
he was supposed to come to every meeting, but then we said, come every other meeting.
right,
He still didn't
right,
come.
well, come next quarterly.
So, and I'm not bad mouthing him,
No.
but if he had come, maybe I would have been asking these questions
Correct, yeah.
of him.
Yes.
Now, I'm learning all this stuff in the last month. And they're just shoving all the stuff down, and it's a lot to learn.
Right.
And then I have this coming up at me, it's just a lot going on for the tobacco agent.
Right.
And I'm not complaining,
No.
because I said I would do it, I'm doing it.
Right.
But the person before me just didn't function.
Right.
I've been on a year, almost 2 years
Right,
now,
correct.
and I never met him.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's something wrong.
Right, it is. He's our agent. He's supposed to be.
He's supposed to answer
At the
questions
minimum,
on
At the
tobacco.
minimum, he should have been here quarterly, presenting his thing.
That's the board's fault.
It is.
I ordered him to come, he still didn't come.
Well, we didn't, when you order somebody to show up, they don't show up one more time, second time, I say fight.
Yeah, well, at this point, he's
I
been
mean,
fighting.
no,
Whether
I'm
he
just
likes it or
saying.
not.
We just
I'm
said.
just saying, the way it should have been.
So at this point,
Waiting,
that's what's going on with the tobacco.
Okay,
I like.
Hopefully starting June 1st,
Right.
which is,
Next
next Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, I'm gonna get together with somebody from the state who will take me out and actually do a physical inspection. And I'll watch them do it.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a way to start doing it myself.
Okay.
And as soon as I get the, go ahead to start doing it myself, I'm gonna try to do 5 a week for 5 weeks to get them done.
see, the other problem, just for you two, was even with food. We used to wait till the end of a quarter to get all the things. Well, as Rick pointed, you can't do them all in the last day of the quarter. But no, the agents were doing them, but they weren't reporting. Now Dylan does it, Rick will do it. As you do them, you report them. So every 2 weeks or every.
So every 2 weeks that we come in here, hopefully,
Right.
I'll have
Right.
10.
Right.
But three board meetings,
Right.
I'll have them done.
Right.
Then I'm gonna wait till September, if the board okays it.
Right.
For me to actually bring in undercover agents to try to buy cigarettes.
Okay. That's fine.
When I go into the, huh,
Are you gonna get it from high school?
Yeah, that's fine.
most
Yeah,
likely.
Absolutely. I think that's part of the same process.
Yeah, I'll go, in fact, I've already thought it through, I'm gonna go to the football coach or the athletic director and say, listen, I need a kid that looks a little older than,
Like Dylan,
yeah.
he was Rob's
Um,
18-year-old.
The other thing that we did is, Laura sent out a letter, that's in the packet also,
Okay.
that says I am now the,
Tobacco agent.
tobacco agent.
Right.
And that I will start doing inspections. So I want everybody in the town to know. And Laura, you sent this out to everybody, right?
Yeah, that's one.
Did we lose her?
Yeah, to all the
Okay.
retailers, I did.
Excellent.
Perfect, okay.
All right, so that is gone out, starting in September. I'll get a kid, we'll go in, I'll explain that to these businesses.
Right.
They need to go online and train for their employees.
Correct.
They can do it, it's free, they can do it at their leisure, whenever they feel like doing it, as long as they do it, they'll understand what the rules are. Once I start with the undercover agents, we can use the state money or we can use our own fines. 1, 3, 500. In the state, it's
1,000, 2,000.
yeah, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000.
5,000, yeah.
I think at the first year, we should think about doing the 1, 2, 300.
Right.
Because I don't want to put anybody out of business.
You mean the 1,000, 2,000?
No, 100.
Oh, okay.
I think the other thing too with that, at least I can personally attest, I don't know if you feel the same, but like, I didn't feel totally comfortable hanging out, like giving out haymakers of fines when I first started.
Right,
Because
yeah,
I
but
wasn't comfortable enough
Pandemic.
with like
forces to do
the
that.
information.
Correct.
But I think as Rick becomes more comfortable with being in the position,
Right.
he might be more apt to, okay, you know, I know the ropes, that's an obvious violation and you've done it 5,
Repeat offenders.
you know, 8 times, whatever.
Like, just
Bang,
for-
bang.
Just for them, but, and I don't know, maybe Richard, you weren't on at that time. When the post-pandemic and, you know, the DOR has we call a certificate you have to have. So that's a violation, which is automatic state. There was 2 businesses, I think, one I know was saying.
Yeah.
Their fines were over $35,000, so they had to get a payment plan.
Yeah.
Because we did that. I don't know if the state, what they did, because that would technically bankrupt somebody.
Bankrupt most.
Right.
I think at the beginning, we don't have to look at it until the August meetings.
Okay, fine.
Let's think about it.
You'll let us know then.
Yeah, and I think by then I'll have a sense of the reception I'm getting at the businesses.
Fine.
But I don't want to give somebody a $1,000 fine. That's a
No,
lot of money.
No, I agree.
For us, for a business.
Correct. Now, if it's a third offense, I may.
Well,
have-
no,
Now, how many times before you pull a license?
It's after 3.
after the third offense.
Right.
So they do,
They come to the board.
right now, you just, young child goes in and buys cigarettes 3 times, that 3rd time you got no more license.
Right.
No, fourth time.
Okay.
4th time.
At which time now, can they get their license back, or is it? we
They have
That's up to us.
They have
I
to
think
come
it's-
in front of the board and they have to do the same thing that
We
we
know
did
where
for
I'm
Michael.
going with this.
Yeah. But at this point, I still feel that $1,000 fine to 3,000,
No,
it's
that's
just a
insane.
lot
Yeah, it's a
of
lot.
money.
Yeah. We don't have to do that. We can do
You
our
know,
own.
if
fines.
it was, Market Basket, all right, Market Basket can handle it, Stop and Shop, yeah, well,
They
they
can
can handle
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But some of these small little businesses that sell, you know, it's. just
But I
a
even
lot.
think with them, we can't make it, how do I say it, uneven. Whoever sells,
Yeah.
Oh, no,
100, 200, 500.
And that's why I say the board should make
Yeah,
the
whatever-
decision
whatever
probably
fine
around
it is,
August,
Okay.
and I'll have a better feel to what I would recommend.
Yeah, 10,000, 20,000.
Yeah, I just can't
We're gonna
see
be eating.
hurting businesses like that.
Okay, so the other thing, as we mentioned, there was a glossy card that came in.
Mhm.
I can't find it, Dylan, but I really
I have it
did
on my
look to
desk.
it. Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Right, I got it on my email and on my phone. I'm going. Is that a threat? Saying that
Oh, no, I didn't get that one. Are you talking about the
the glossy card,
that says
came to
vote
me.
no?
yeah,
Everyone got that. I
Yeah.
thought you told me you got an email from someone who emailed you directly and said,
I didn't,
No.
I didn't get that.
I got,
I didn't get no.
were we supposed to get on our personal email, not the town one?
you got one
Personal.
on your personal.
And I got on my phone. Now, they knew 508-344-0993 was
It's on the
dead.
internet,
What'd you get?
right?
What'd you get?
I got the glossy thing saying,
On your phone?
voting no, excuse me, voting yes is a violation of, I don't want to call it free speech, but, my right to be an adult. And, you know, it's almost like remember when the war came out, we said, you're 18, you can go to war and die. You're 18,
You should be able to
you
drink.
can't smoke.
Oh,
And you can't, well, no, you couldn't.
Back when I was, yeah,
Right,
they
okay.
did.
So I said, that's the rules. you know?
I didn't, I
Okay,
didn't.
Okay, so I deleted them. I'm gonna go look and see if I didn't
Yeah.
empty my
Yeah,
trash.
but,
But, you know, it's just, I'm saying, like,
yeah, everyone
wanted to
got a
know if
mailer,
everybody else got that.
basically. It's the same mailer list that you can get, like, if you're a politician and you send out.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it if you really want to.
Right.
I think, like I said, I think it wasn't us, but someone on our side also sent out a positive one.
correct,
Like,
right, right. Well, that's
so-
good, that's good.
I think, honestly, at this point, in regards to that one, I think we just leave it up to tomorrow. I think I feel prepared.
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay,
I'll be backing up Rick's got this, I got this, we got
I just
this.
wanted to throw it out there. and go.
It'll be all good.
Go
But
get drunk.
I'm giving it the best shot I can. I'm
It'll
just
be-
telling
it'll be
you right
good.
now.
That's all you can do.
I took it as a senior member.
Exactly,
and
that's
I
all you
took it
can.
as,
No.
are you trying to tell me how to vote? I know it does that. Now vote the way I feel, and if you don't like me, too bad.
But,
Who yells the loudest is gonna pass it.
All right,
Okay.
the next order of business, Vinnie, is the money
Okay, fine. Got it.
committee.
Yes.
You need money.
We need a formal vote.
No, we
I
need a formal
cannot make that motion.
vote. Right, okay.
How much you want, Rick?
No,
Yeah, I
it's the
think
rates
it's-
that were-
so,
No, it's listed in.
I'll explain the money. It's $30 an hour for inspections and.
Education.
All right, I make a
education.
motion that we set the inspections at $30 an hour, compliance check.
And then it's $50
$50
an
per
hour
And
when I
all-
have a kid.
And all other related work at $30 an hour.
And it's $50 an
I
hour.
said that, right?
Okay,
yeah, he read it right.
Second.
Ron.
We have
Got
a
a
first and
second.
a second.
All those in favor say aye.
Yay.
I abstain.
Okay. One
Ayes
abstention
have it.
and the four.
Okay,
Okay.
Vinnie, you need to sign this one.
Okay.
Did you get that, Laura?
You signed it from you.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
No problem, just wanted to make sure.
No, thank you, Laura.
Spending money.
Hey,
That's fine.
While Vinnie is signing these, Laura, I have a question. I got the 7 or 8 page contract. What am I to do with that?
Well, that was just a contract, an example of what the last tobacco agent had. I don't know if we need to do that again or how the board feels, but it was just for an example to go with the pay.
Okay.
But
I'll talk to you about it tomorrow then.
Contract, I
Yeah,
think,
we can talk about it, worst case scenario, I'll go to council, swap names,
right. That's fine.
clean it up, call it a day.
You all gonna seat up on the stage tomorrow?
No, we'll group in the audience. Okay, you just, sorry.
All right.
Thought you went to
I
hog
want
the stage.
to be on the side of the selectmen.
I
Haven't
think
been there in a
that's
long time.
everything with the tobacco.
Okay, so, okay, we did.
I just want to
Vote
make sure.
rates, we did that. Okay, so town meeting preparation, discuss articles. We've
We already
already done
done that?
that. Okay.
Except the second
I
article.
was gonna
Second
say, yeah,
Yes,
really,
let's do the
really,
second one.
the only thing on the second one is,
This is the livestock.
so I actually had, initially I had an idea where I was gonna say, I made a very basic slide presentation, I was
Okay.
like, oh, I'm gonna present it this way, I'm gonna say, we need to remove these words, simplify the bylaw, so that way we can go after the numbers, better with the regulation.
Correct.
And with that, originally, my thought was, I already have a draft, emphasis on draft, of the numbers in acres.
Perfect. That's
Spelled
nice,
out.
I thought. See, Dylan offered.
So I already have that drafted, and I was going to put it on the slides, but then I had a thought where I was like, you know what? That's a conversation that needs to be had at our Board of Health meeting when we pass the livestock regulation, not at the town meeting,
Right.
because that's just gonna open a can of worms.
Right.
So what I'm going to do, I even explicitly stated on the presentation, I was like, we are doing this because we are passing a set, like regulations coinciding these. They will be passed at our next Board of Health meeting. And copies are available at my office. You must either reach out to me, come in and collect them printed, or otherwise, and then come to the Board of Health meeting if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.
I think it's real fair because what Dylan did, he broke it down by lot size. And then setbacks, because people in the acres, people on Irene Court and one other place, literally put the containers, the pens up against the fence. One lady didn't realize she had a small pig, that it was gonna be a 300-pound pig. So the human waste, pig waste is exactly like human waste. When we analyze waste in the lab, we use pig waste. Because sometimes it takes longer to collect.
The stomach's the same.
So without deviating that way, this stuff was running into people's yards.
Yeah.
Where there were children, and I said, that carries E. coli, you can kill another human. You know, so we had to go in there with the animal control, the board health agent, myself, and said, you have 7 days, or this is immediately, you'll stop. You know, so they had to get rid of the pig,
Yeah.
the 2 pigs,
So
they had to get rid of the goat.
So does that mean we're not going in front of the town on this warrant 20?
Oh, yeah.
we are.
Just for the.
It's just that the warrant 20 is not passing the regulation.
Correct.
Warrant 20 is changing the bylaw.
Bylaw.
Because when we go to pass the regulation, all we have to do is just show it to the board and then you guys agree on it and we pass it and call it a day. We were just doing that after the town meeting so that they were done in conjunction. That's all. It's just a 2-step process.
But the thing we're doing with.
They're
Article
gonna
20
vote then at the town meeting on that, or on that warrant.
Correct.
Okay.
But they're gonna vote on, what's it,
Just
6
removing the language.
the language, 6 months.
Yeah.
old. That's all.
It's
they're
removing 10 or more chickens,
Right.
2 or
All
more.
right, I was just a little confused.
Yeah.
And the planning board supports this.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my next question. Why does the planning board have to get involved in our regulations?
Well, because
The way it's
the
written,
bylaw was accepted by the town.
the way it's written,
can't
and because
override
it's a
the bylaw.
bylaw,
Right.
they wrote, the bylaw is, the definition of keeping of livestock is written into the zoning definitions.
Bylaw.
Because you have to be zoned agricultural.
Correct.
Okay.
And so, yeah,
And what happened was, technically speaking, we cannot pass a regulation that overrides a bylaw.
so we have to clean the
We have
bylaw.
to clean the bylaw.
The other question I had is, why can't the board of selectmen approve our ordinance?
The livestock one or the tobacco
No,
one?
the tobacco one. It says that they didn't take a vote on
Finance committee did.
No, the finance
it.
committee.
Well, and the selectmen didn't.
Oh, they didn't?
Well,
They-
they didn't say it.
I don't know, I'd have to ask Hillary,
Yeah,
because
ask
I don't
her.
know if it's
I
just,
thought it
I
was
don't know if it's just because.
It's going to town meeting.
Yeah, but they should.
Because, well, I think it might be because it's actually it's being presented as a Board of Health bylaw. So normally, when, say, the selectmen or the zoning board would vote to approve something, I think they're almost attaching themselves to it. Like, for
Yes.
example, like, if I wanna pass a bylaw and the zoning board approves it, it becomes a zoning bylaw.
Right.
Whereas
It's not a
it's a
bylaw.
Board of Health bylaw, so no one approves it because we're the approving board passing
Correct.
Okay.
it, I think.
All right,
Yeah, I.
I'll
think I
double
agree.
check,
Double check.
but
No,
I
no,
think
okay.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
all right, next up.
Yeah, we're at that now.
It's gonna pour badly Saturday.
It is?
It's supposed to.
I saw
It's been 11 weeks of rain on Saturday.
Right,
Yeah.
I know.
And on Saturday, I watched it again tonight.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
They said all day.
Want to change it again?
I think we should change it again.
Again,
and-
okay, fine,
and
that was a question.
Try to figure out.
Mid-June?
Go to the second Saturday, June.
Let me
Well,
add,
here's,
So when does the kids get out of school? Do you know that? By any chance?
late June, right?
no,
I think it's early
it's
June.
early June.
They don't have a lot of
The kids are
snow days.
graduating.
Oh,
So the
Seniors already
kids-
Seniors
graduated.
graduate early.
Seniors already,
They're out.
They're out,
They're
they
out.
graduated like a week ago. or 2 years.
Yeah.
Because prom was the other night.
Yeah, and,
I'm phoning a friend.
Just like that.
I just think we should figure out when school ends and do it right before it.
Okay,
Because once
Yeah.
school ends, we lose everybody.
right, you're right.
I concur, and my follow-up question would be,
When
if
do they
that's the
get out?
case, if it's
Do it in the fall.
as much as
After school
because
starts?
I hate it, because the whole point is that you want the streets to be cleaned up for summer, going into summer, and I get that, that's the whole point.
Right.
But what other options? are
I
there?
have a caveat though.
Go ahead.
I went to drop a water sample off at DPW. I went all the way down to that, is that warehouse ever open? Anyway, to the warehouse.
Yeah, Depot Street.
Yeah, where the trackside
Yeah.
turned. There was no trash. I was shocked. I even went into Best Buy because I like 'em. No trash. I'm going. What happened was I kept seeing
Hey,
bags.
Stevie, when's Tom going to school?
I got bags picked up.
18th of June?
Okay, so
And he's in what, the ninth grade? Okay, no, he's in the 8th grade right now. So he's in middle school, still is in high school.
That's the high school.
Okay. Okay, this is the date. Thank you.
good. So here's the school.
So the
Bye-bye.
7th or the 14th
Right.
are the only 2 days.
So I'd say the 14th. I'll give.
Oh, we put it off.
But
I don't really
do the
wanna
fall,
put it
I mean,
off.
I,
I don't wanna put it off, but I'm like, I feel like we're still in the rain window now.
You think so?
Probably.
Well, we can't
Rain
do that
at all.
lucky, you know?
Yeah.
it's gonna let.
Well, we do it this way. Let's do 7. If it falls on, we'll do 14. That way we can skip it.
They have to advertise and put it out.
Why don't we just say the 14th?
The 14, okay.
And we do a E911 reverse call.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah,
you buy
everybody.
t-shirts?
Announcing that it's canceled.
Well, not in, but don't worry.
No, but do one that it's canceled
Canceled.
Saturday
And move to.
and move to the, what did I just say, 14th of June.
And if it doesn't go to 14, we'll go to, then you go to.
And we'll go to the fall.
Okay. So what I think was, there was a whole bunch of bags on birthday, the 20th, unbelievable everywhere. I think people actually somehow got this brilliant idea.
I think people still went out and cleaned.
That's
Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah, Maple Street was even clean.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it myself.
People,
They went out and just did
people
it.
still went out and did it because we put enough word out that we didn't even have to run the event and people went out and helped.
Right.
So that's awesome.
I think that is.
Did the t-shirts come in?
They haven't-
Is it still?
They haven't arrived yet. We ordered them. They should be arriving.
He's been doing that.
Laura, have you gotten any updates as far as arrival on the t-shirts today or tomorrow or the next day?
29th.
The 29th, so Thursday.
We're gonna see it.
What time do you think?
I have a proof upstairs.
See if you can do that the morning. That'll be fine.
Not me.
I'll ask her.
Yeah, I want him. Yeah, whole board wants him. So
So,
make a motion, we pause this meeting for 3 minutes. So you can get it.
I'll run
Sure.
upstairs and grab it.
No problem.
I'll second.
Get the town
all
warrant.
those favors say aye.
What is
So,
He's going to get some.
Get the town warrant.
Gotcha. Does everyone want
Please.
What's that?
them? Does everyone want them?
Yeah, please.
So,
I don't know what he's going for.
Sure.
t-shirt, the t-shirt. He's
Oh,
got
the
it.
t- oh,
He's got,
nice.
he's got one, the sample.
Yeah.
I wanna see what we're spending money on. I mean, I don't mind saying when it's.
Well, what did we end up spending the money on? Laura, what did we spend the money on? Was it the
$500.
$1,200 ones? Or heavy press graphics?
We went with the $1,200, which was, Brian Hall at Threads Unlimited in town.
There you go.
Okay,
All right,
We did threads?
okay. We gave, how do I say it? We're getting a local, and I'm sure the price was
Yeah.
better than the other
That's
one.
what
Good
we
that
did.
we're
That's what we're gonna
supporting
do,
local.
I'm sorry?
It's good we're supporting local.
Yeah, well, that's
Right,
why I get that's why I get my shirts, my company.
Okay. Okay.
Always treat us well, not
Yeah.
crazy pricey.
And I think the other bid was higher, much higher. Okay, that's fine.
Well, next year.
He has supplied shirts like 2 or 3 years ago to the board.
School teachers that print. And they did some shirts from years ago.
Okay,
They're still doing printing. If I couldn't try to nail them in 2 weeks' time.
right, right.
But if we're gonna do this annually, what I'd like to do is give them an opportunity at it as well,
Okay, sure.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Just like they make business card stuff and other stuff.
Right, they do all of that.
They'll do it for the board, but they'll also do it privately if you want.
Right,
You know, they run a little business, part of business 101.
Yeah.
School, you know.
yeah, and then, yeah, I mean,
And it's good to train people, actually see, you know,
well,
you make it,
we have
you
this
display it,
technology
you
in our
sell it.
school. We have the technology there.
Right.
And we can pay the town of Bellingham's printing shop a third of what we're gonna pay
correct,
outside business.
correct,
And the children are learning from what we're doing.
right.
And if there's an imperfection, they correct it, but you might get 20 things that go mark on it.
Right.
But I got my business cards from the town of Bellingham
Yeah.
before as well.
I did
the
too.
students, and, you know, it's just, for me, it's a better thing to do at this point.
Because
you know.
Nabs went out of business, I think. right?
I'm sorry?
No, they're still in
Yeah,
business.
okay, well,
What's
they
that?
stopped
But
sending
Nabs-
anything.
No,
Nabs.
Neb's, no more business,
Yeah,
but they're very expensive.
Very,
yeah.
Very, it's New
The
England
school,
business and
you're right,
NES.
was
Yeah,
less than
cool.
a third maybe.
Well, let's,
Business
let them know
services,
me,
they
you
do
can be in
project
charge of
business,
it.
they're
Okay.
very
I mean, I would say
expensive.
reach out to whoever took over her position,
Right.
if she's not doing it anymore.
Okay,
I haven't seen Melissa since the handicap commission folded.
right,
I mean, I could reach out to her if you want me to and see if she's still doing it. and
Sure,
get some
you can do that.
information on it.
I remember the name, but I can't.
I'm just trying to save a little bit of money for us at the same time.
No, I think it helps.
And if we can get it done
Yeah.
properly, and
There's only 3 left.
everybody's happy with it. There we go. You know, all right.
Oh, yeah. I
Okay.
don't know now.
Oh, the warrant, yes. Oh,
I'll
thank
just
you.
take one, you don't need one.
You all want to later,
What?
or,
Got it,
I'll look at it.
That's cool.
Is, do they
So,
think there's gonna be any problem on any of the warrant stuff before us?
Probably not.
I think the only thing that we're probably gonna see people asking questions on are the budgets.
yeah,
Because I don't know if you guys have been to a town meeting, but especially
No.
recently.
I have.
yeah, they hold up fire, they hold up police,
So I
they hold
can
up
be,
school, which is
here,
not a bad
I'll tread
idea.
lightly and make it quick, so. Because of, you know, like. Stuff like Doge,
Right,
like the
Oh, yeah.
government
Right,
spending
right.
stuff. There's a lot more individuals who are, a lot more interested in how governmental money is being spent.
Yeah.
And so what you'll find is compared to meetings in the past, you have a lot of folks that, and it's not anything against them, I just think it's that they're just, they just don't know, they're uneducated maybe, and they're asking genuine questions
And there's
because
certain departments
Right.
that will get
more questions
picked
than
on
others.
more so than others.
Like, for example, one thing that, you'll notice, because a lot of people like to take point on the percentages and like
correct,
because if you look in the percentage column, there's going to be, okay, this is, a parentheses, is they lost many.
Yeah.
In a big number means they've gained it, so if you go to conservation, for example, she might get a hard time because there's like a 27% increase in the conservation budget. However, the reason for that is because our conservation agent is now full-time.
okay.
Yeah, but they can
First
speak
of all, I
to
got
those
full-time.
things. Yes.
Well,
I realize
exactly,
They will.
that.
so a lot of them are
Simple.
simple, it's just people look at it face value and they go, whoa. What, like, we had one last year, perfect example, we had one last year because our, like, spending for this board
Right.
went up like, I think like 60 to 80% or something like that, you wanna know why? You and you,
Right.
because we got two new
Right.
members,
And-
so we needed to budget for their
Prior to
salary.
that, I wanted to increase our stipend, and they said, no, the board of selectmen shut that right
Yeah.
I want to raise.
So like, stuff, that's really what you'll see. Is you're gonna have, they're gonna pick apart the budget so that they can understand it better. There's gonna be some capital funding stuff that the police and fire have to run through.
Right, I'm telling you
They'll
now.
also get questioned, but not,
Won't be bad.
it won't be bad, it'll be pretty quick, it'll be more so, oh, why are you spending that? Okay, that makes sense, stamp, like rubber stamp, like. Everything else is pretty
So
straightforward.
by the time you get to Article.
And then
19
once you get to
20,
Article
it'll be
19
late.
and 20,
It'll be late.
it'll be later in the night and it'll be
When I
just
walk
us.
into the meeting, okay.
Okay, how long is the meeting?
4 hours, 2 hours.
No, it varies, it just
2
varies.
hours, 4 hours, sometimes it goes over, we gotta back.
Last year, it got out about 9:30.
Yeah, which is kind of okay.
2 hours.
I remember,
I
I get
remember
up at
11
4:30 in
o'clock
the morning, and the meeting was still going. I left at 9. I said, that's it, I gotta be in bed in a half hour.
Yeah.
I
So.
remember when Willie was on the board.
Went to.
Depends
oh,
on
yeah,
how well the
11.
moderator, handles the
Right.
comments and the.
Like some people get out. of
You're
it.
not
The peanut
really,
gallery.
you're not really that focused if you get late at night,
Oh, yeah, just.
you know, and
that's
a
how
lot
we
of
passed
times
that
they'll adjourn and
Yeah.
then we,
High school
we do the
football
next-
field that-
Yeah.
the next night.
Well,
Yeah.
next Wednesday.
I'll say it this way here, right during the pandemic, when they said, because the school committee couldn't do their budget right, and they had to pay all these things like raises for teachers. We went on a $1.5 million permanent override for the town school committee. So anytime they shortfall, they just say, oh, we're adding it to that permanent override.
Yeah.
That was a disaster. What happened was all the kids that just turned 18 years old came to the meeting. It was unbelievable. Passed by like, I don't know, 10 people. And the old
Really
people were
good.
afraid to come out.
Really 2/3, whatever.
Yeah,
So
so,
can't vote like that, really 2/3, should have been 2/3.
I don't know.
Shouldn't be majority.
Even if it was, the 2/3 was,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it shouldn't be majority. I know, I remember.
don't think it was.
I fought
Well,
against the,
some of them have to be two-thirds.
I don't think that was 2/3.
Field. I was much.
Are we back in session?
yeah, we're gonna be, okay.
Surface in which you want kids to play on,
Right.
it changes their body. And the disease that comes out of it is crazy.
Whatever, I'll put it this way here. For people who don't have kids,
Okay.
it's tough to handle.
I think being retired, we should have to pay taxes.
Okay. Next thing is correspondence, B&A contract. Oh, it's
I make a motion that we accept the VNA contract for the,
How much is it?
year.
Second,
It's $670 times 12 months.
Perfect.
second.
They haven't increased, okay. All those in favor say aye.
I just have a question.
Oh.
What is the VNA?
We have a visiting nurse contract that takes care of like, people have to follow up on communicable diseases. I don't know, this take care of
she
pregnant women,
she also
food
helps
clinics.
run the main thing that she helps us with directly is we run an employee food clinic every year
Okay.
and during food season.
And you get a real nurse.
And yeah, she handles like a lot of the communicable disease
Right.
stuff, so
Like
like.
if you get, what's the?
If someone say goes to a restaurant, eats something bad, and then calls,
The Board of
the
Health?
Board of Health or whatever.
Right.
Or if they go above me, usually what happens is they go above me and they'll go to say DPH, Department, like
Yeah,
state
we get a call.
DPH.
On the weekend.
And then state DPH calls her
Did you look into
as the
that?
nurse,
Right.
Look
Did you
into,
look into the Dell?
who she reaches out to me.
no, I haven't talked to
So it
Dylan
can
about
be-
that yet. We don't need the
We have to
laptop.
close a restaurant down.
We need
Get
the
people signed up
iPad.
for 48 hours
Did we get the
From my
iPad
employee.
from,
to find out one employee from Woonsocket.
no, not from, IT,
Brought in.
from,
Sure.
No, I still need to know, because I was.
Oh, she got it in.
I actually meant.
That caused an entire
No, I know.
restaurant to close down, an outbreak. And we had to inoculate a whole bunch of people. We had to go to Milford Hospital for inoculation. Okay, so the contract passed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
so I need you to sign that and then put it around.
Okay,
I make a motion that we accept the first bill, WB Mason, for $23.98.
Second.
I make a motion that we
sign below Rick.
made
Okay.
a motion and he seconded it.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried. That was the BNA 670?
No.
Something.
That was the
WB is
WB.
the first one.
Okay, 73. Got it. Okay, got it.
All right, second one, I make a motion that we accept the WB Mason in the amount of $56.06.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried.
All right, please do need to stop you sign it around the horn. I make a motion that we accept the Amazon business, account for $73.43.
Second.
Okay, all All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried.
I make a motion that we accept the Amazon.com in the amount of $16.13.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried.
That goes around, and the last one is an invoice for
Fred's,
Fred's Unlimited.
Okay.
In the amount of $1,137.50. And that's for the T-shirts for the cleanup day.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried.
And then right around the horn.
Too late.
too late.
There's a time limit on this.
Sorry.
No better than.
I don't want to give her more money.
You know, if you oppose, you have to give us the reason.
Yeah,
I would, I
no,
would give
no
them more
claims,
money.
no nothing.
Oh,
so.
okay. Yeah, well,
Oh,
I don't think we can do that.
I know.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
second,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so
no
carried.
discussion.
Thank you, Laura. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Laura, I'll see you tomorrow morning.
I make the motion, I get $100 more each week for my social security.
So this is like the agenda of the warrant? Yes.
Yeah, so,
Doesn't
there was a